Greetings. Oh, this is up way too high. Good evening, and or other time of the day if it is not the evening in your current location. It's me, your boy. Well, title here kind of says it all. This is what we're doing today. I'll show a little bit of the archive in a minute. I'm just going to do a little bit of admin work before we properly kick off. Make sure... You fool, that's not Billy Mays, that's Phil Swift. You fool. Don't speak such blasphemy. It's Phil Swift. Thank you very much. To show you the power of flex tape, I sawed this boat in half and repaired it with only flex tape. I mean, there's the slap chop guy. His voice is a bit more nasally. I don't remember his name, like Vince something. Vince Offer. Pretty sure. Yeah, Vince Offer is the slap chop guy. He's notably different. Okay, right. So, in case it wasn't clear, we're updating the archive today, which is the first thing I ever put out on the guild. I probably should have replaced the mixes thing with the archive so that people could see what it is, but it doesn't matter because I'm just gonna outright show you the archive anyway. Because getting a little look at the interior is fine as far as I'm concerned. Because funnily enough, I own the rights to this because I made it with my own 2 hands. Screen capture. Here we are. Here is the archive in all of its relative glory. This is the Archive of Esoteric Secrets. This was released January 15th, 2019, so 2 years ago. And partially holds up, partially does not. There's some good content in here, but it's very janky, it's very weird, there's some inconsistencies and some balance problems. And that's what we're aiming to sort of fix. This is 160 spells is in this thing. And I'm still stand by all of them. I think they're all cool. I think a lot of the spells I've made since are a lot cooler. But the archive still has a lot of cool shit in it. It just needs some editing, it needs a tune-up, it needs to be gone through. I think once the update is done, which I'm probably going to do all of it on stream, by the way, I'm most likely going to do all of it on stream. Once it's done, I'm going to put it up. I'm going to put it up, and it'll be a 50% off discount code. Hell, it might be a little less than that, and if you're in the stream or something, it'll be higher for people who want to go and get it. Because even in its current state, I would say it's still a pretty decent product. I think it just needs a tune-up. Yeah, you get the credits and shit. Introduction, spell lists. And then we start on the spells. And basically we're going to go through them alphabetically because it's kind of easier that way. Not necessarily the most efficient, but it's easier to do it that way. Just kind of adjusting my jacket. Because it's very hot. I got the sheet up and it is fucking toasting in here. I'm going to have to take a drink, actually. But as you can see, we have a number of spells of varying levels, do various different things. And we're basically just going to start and we're going to run through. We're going to fix everything from balance to wording to just general effects. There's probably a couple spells in here that are just I'm going to look at it and go yeah, this is fucking stupid. And then I'm going to just completely change what it does. That is very possible. because a lot of these spells I haven't, like, they're all in my home game, but not all of them have been picked yet. There's probably a good number of these. Like, statistically speaking, it's very improbable that all of them will have been picked, because there's so many of them. But basically what we're going to do is I'm going to go back to the Word doc. Here we are. And I'm going to grab, like, the first one, which is Abyssal Punishment, which is an abyssal counterpart to Hellish Rebuke. I'm also going to have them in like this, because it's just easier that way. Or is it easier that way? Yes. Somewhat. Whatever. I'll probably change it halfway through. So, Abyssal Punishment, first level enchantment, one reaction which you take in response to being damaged by a creature within range that you can see, verbal, somatic, instantaneous, range 60 feet, class Warlock. So far, this is to the T Hellish Rebuke. And within the Abyss, I don't think that T does not need to be capitalized. The creature must make a Wisdom saving throw. It takes 1d6 psychic damage on a failed save and suffers from short-term madness for 1 minute. Wow. Okay, right. Let's have a read of the short-term. Wait, hang on. At the end of each of the creature's turns, they can remake the save to end the short-term madness. Okay, right. I remember putting that in. Maybe let me just see if that's in. Oh no, that did make it in, because some of these spells have been changed after going into the archive. There's a few of them that have been like jimmied around a bit. And I thought for a second with fear that some human being had like taken this spell or had this spell cast on them without this clause here, and they were just like rolled the worst possible short-term madness, because there's at least one of them where you become paralyzed, I think. So yeah, this one's very swingy. Obviously the damage is not even remotely close to Hellish Rebuke, but its additional effect kind of takes a piss all over it, so I think this is probably okay. I'm not sure though. I'm really not sure. I'll come back to this later, because I think I might ditch the short-term madness and replace it with just like and just like replace it with just like some kind of just generic debuff that's less, less cursed. Oh, greetings. Welcome in. I say we only just started. I'm just going. Yeah. So, second spell is Ethereal Zone. Now this is a weird one. This is a spell that is kind of stupid and kind of shit. I have to say, I'm not really a fan of it. What I will do is I will header 1 these titles so I can search them easily. So 4th level Conjuration Ritual. Casting time 1 action, range 10 feet. Verbal somatic material, a fine cut quartz gemstone with at least 50 gold pieces. Concentration for an hour. I say you can ignore this, because this is copied from my own personal like home thing. So just ignore like Animist and Runeshaper and stuff. Don't worry about that. That's from my home game. You can't drop ethereal energy in a 60-foot radius, 90-foot high cylinder at a point you can see within range. For the duration, any creature you choose that casts a spell of 4th level or lower, which allows them to teleport to a location or space on this plane whilst within the spell's area, can do so using a spell slot 1 level lower than its minimum casting cost to a minimum of 1st level. For example, should a creature you have chosen to be affected cast the spell Misty Step whilst in the spell's area, they have the choice of casting Misty Step. That should be italicized, using a 1st or 2nd level spell slot. Now this spell is kind of stupid. This is weird. This is weird. Like, the flavor of the spell doesn't really work. Like ethereal energy, not a thing. Not sure why I put that in. Like, I remember why, but I've like since axed all of that from my home game. So it's kind of dumb, really. It's just very stupid. You conjure up. So I like the effect, like, but it's not. This is not a 4th level spell. This is like a 2nd level spell, maybe, and even then, it's not very good. Like, it's a big area. Like it's a really big AoE, but even then, like, I would not come out and say that this is in any way particularly good or useful. It may end up being that, like, sending a spell like this, I could just, like, axe all of this and just, like, start from the top. Which, honestly, might just do that, because it fucking sucks. It's fucking stupid. Like, the effect is neat, but, like, who cares? Like, why would you spend a 4th level spell slot on this spell? It doesn't do anything useful. Like, it does something useful, but it doesn't do anything worth a 4th level spell slot or a 10-minute ritual. It just doesn't. Big whoop, I can cast Dimension Door as a 3rd level spell instead of a 4th level spell. Wow. Zooey mama. But, oh wait, I already spent a 4th level spell slot to cast this awful spell. So yeah, let me read the spell. There is a spell I think I can think of. I think it's like an 8th level Circle of. I don't remember the name of the spell. Circle of Power. What is this spell? Okay, Circle of Power is like an abjuration thing. So this could be. This could be. Okay, I think I know what I'm gonna do with this. This is This will now be called Magical Zone. Right? Magical Zone. And it will be a 30-foot radius. Not 360-foot radius, I clicked the wrong space. 30-foot radius, 90-foot high cylinder point you can see within range. You conjure up mystical energies. For the duration, any creature you choose to cast a spell at 4th level or lower. Can do, so would you just nix it immediately. Using a spell slot of 1 level lower than its minimum casting cost. Go to a minimum. To a maximum of 8th level. This spell can affect increases by 1 level for every spell slot expended above 4th to a maximum of 8th level. Okay, now this spell's really fucking good, so I'm gonna remove the ritual thing. The spell's gone from, like, absolute dog piss to really, really good. Because now you cast a 4th level spell and all of your magic buddies can suddenly cast spells 1 level lower. I specifically capped it at 8th level to stop the Simulacrum combo, which basically allows you to just create infinite Simulacrums, and I'm fairly certain this effect would allow you to do that for the duration of the spell, which is an hour, which, you know, is more than enough time. So, yeah, I think this spell has suddenly gone from, like, perhaps the worst thing ever devised by a man to something actually really good. So, thumbs up, mission success. We did it, we did it, Reddit. Oh, okay, right. So, spell number trace. It's one of the one of the only Spanish words I know. Is alter form. That's cool. It's a cool spell. Now this is I very distinctly remember this spell. As being mostly okay. So 6th level transmutation ritual. Casting time 1 action, range, touch. Verbal somatic material. A gem encrusted mirror worth at least 500 gold pieces which the spell consumes. Duration instantaneous. We can just like slice off most of this. I'll just remove that because of course it's origin me. Believe it or not, I did make this spell. You invoke powerful magic to permanently change your or another willing creature's form. Another willing creature you touches form. You decide what the target looks like, including height, weight, facial features, sound of voice, hair length, coloration, distinguishing characteristics, if any, and so on. The target must still appear as a member of their race or a similar subrace, though none of their statistics change. You cannot have the target appear as a creature of a different size than them, and their basic shape stays the same. And the target's basic shape stays the same. You cannot grow additional limbs on the target. The spell also cannot remove magical marks or brands, such as a magical tattoo, a rune, or a scar received from powerful magic or an extraplanar entity. So, yeah, that's cool. I like the spell. I think this is probably fine. I think this spell is fine. It's not a particularly powerful effect. It's mostly cosmetic. It's mostly for flavor. But it is permanent. Like it is duration instantaneous. This is not something that can be dispelled. This is once you cast the spell, it is done. And there is some horrible evil stuff you can do with this spell because a creature can be willing, but you decide what it looks like. Which I'm not sure how to feel about. Mostly just because that seems rife for abuse. Like player to player, like, oh lol, I'm going to ruin your character by casting this spell. But that does require this person to have been a shitty enough player to last in a game long enough to get to 11th level to cast this spell. Which is unlikely in and of itself. Like a player that's that big of a problem, they do something like that, would get kicked out of a group long before they hit 11th level. But it could be a problem. So I may... Hang on. Let's maybe mark this in red, as so when I scroll past I go, ooh, red text, and then I go and read it, and next time I come and look at this, I'll have another think about it, and I'll maybe change it, or maybe I won't. I don't think it's going to be a problem, but I think at the same time, even the prospect for abuse, like player-to-player abuse, or even DM-to-player abuse, that's even worse. Because at least player-to-player abuse, the DM has the power to go, no, you don't do that, don't be a cunt. But, you know, we'll work that out when we come back to it. I suppose, actually, if I'm marking things I may want to change with red text, may as well do that. So the next one is Angwei's Instilled Rage, which is a spell I remember nothing about. It is another 6th level spell. So it's a 6th level evocation. It's 1 action, range, touch, verbal somatic material, with the material component being a stage dagger, concentration for a minute. You overwhelm a creature with rage and frustration. Okay, this is an enchantment spell, not an evocation spell. To the point of the creature becoming too reckless in battle. You touch a creature within range. Target must then succeed on a wisdom saving throw and become overcome with rage. While enraged in this way, the target has disadvantage on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws, except those made against the spell, and all attack rolls made against it are made at advantage. The target can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the spell's effect on a success. As a 6th level spell, this seems really just not good. I think bumping this down to like a 3rd or a 4th level spell, then this spell's really, really good. However, there is technically nothing stopping us from doing that. So if they fail the save, they're fucked. But at the same time, this is a 6th level spell that if the target succeeds the saving throw, it does literally nothing. And it's not like Disintegrate, where if they fail the save, they're going to take like 1,000,000 force damage. If they fail the save, they suffer like a vaguely debilitating effect that lasts like a minute on concentration. So I think if we try and like upscale this to be a 6th level spell, it's going to end up being too good. But if we keep it at the level it's at, it's just no one's ever going to fucking take it because it's not worth it. So I say we un-6th levelify this spell and make it, I don't know, what would people consider this sort of power level to be? They have disadvantage on attack rolls against them are at advantage, concentration for a minute, and so this is like single target fairy fire, but kind of on steroids. Like it has big additional effects. Yeah, I'm thinking 3rd or 4th. I'm not 100% though. There is a lot of potential variance. So I'm not 100%. Again, I think we'll red text this for now, and we'll come back to it. Because I like this effect, it's kind of cool. Like, the flavor is cool. You're kind of whispering in their ear and instilling some anger in them. And I'm not sure why a stage dagger is here, but I kind of love it. It's one of my favorite things to do, actually, when designing spells, is coming up with, like funky material components. Some of it's, like, really boring, like a fine-cut quartz gemstone, like, whatever, like, who fucking cares? But the altar form is like a gem-encrusted mirror, so, like, you look at yourself in the mirror and then you use the magic to change yourself. And like this one is you stab them with the stage dagger, and then they yeah, I love making material components for spells. That you can make some really fun ones. Next one is Animate Sword, which if I remember correctly is about as straightforward as it sounds. To my memory, it is exactly what it sounds like. Unless it has any weirdness to it. Animate Sword, 2nd level transmutation, 1 action, touch, verbal somatic material, a sword with a fine zircon set into its pommel worth at least 75 gold pieces. So, oh, it should probably be a long sword. You bring a deadly consciousness into a non-magical blade that you touch, animating it as a flying sword. See page 20 of the monster manual. You can issue verbal commands to the sword on your turn, no action required, and the sword will understand you, performing a requested action to the best of its ability. If it receives no command, the sword defends itself from attacks, but otherwise takes no actions. This is perfect. Like, I'm not sure what the CR of, like, a, oh, look at this. Fucking, hang on. Let's get him. Bam. Oh, wait, but wait, there's more! 2 in a row. Fuck. Okay, Joe. Yeah, I'm sort of inclined to agree. I think for now, we'll put down 4th. I'll go back up and change it to 4th. But, yeah, Animate Sword. Let me just check the CR of an animated sword, because I'm not actually sure, like, how powerful one of those is. But I think, oh, no, it's a, oh, no, it is a animated sword. No, it's a flying sword. What am I doing? Flying sword. Scale 1/4. I know, right? Fucking nuts. As a flying sword has a very high CR. Oh no, very high CR, very high AC. Their CR is only 1/4. Their bonus to attack is pretty bad. So I think what I will actually do is what this essentially is, right? This is a slightly worse spiritual weapon, but it has a body. So it's spiritual weapon with a body. So I would say it probably needs, like, this is concentration as well. So yeah, this needs to be, like, slightly better than spiritual weapon. And I think the fact that this thing can, like, provide flanking, can probably take the help action, can like shove stuff, that's enough, right? Like, that on its own makes this kind of, sort of, it's not quite hand in hand with spiritual weapons. Spiritual weapon's always going to be better because A, it can't be destroyed, B, it's not concentration, which makes it automatically better, but this is like the wizard equivalent. So it can still, actually the flying sword is a lot faster. Yeah, the flying sword is really fast, the spiritual weapon is very slow. So if this can be kind of like play just a little bit second fiddle to spiritual weapon, like the wizard equivalent, then I think it's in a good spot. And as of right now, low power, I'd say. The sword, hang on, let me scooch in a bit. The sword uses your spellcasting uses your attack modifier in place of its own attack bonuses. And also, if your GM uses flanking, which a lot of GMs do, or some variation of flanking, then the sword provides flanking, which is really, really good. Uses your spell attack modifier. Also, this doesn't take a bonus action as well. So, like, I'd say concentration. So spiritual weapon is not concentration, does more damage, but is slower, and takes your bonus action to use. Animate Sword, on the other hand, is an action to cast, and is concentration for a minute, and the sword doesn't do very much damage, but the sword is an entity, it is a creature, which means that it can do all the things a creature can do, including die. I guess we need to, like, make up, like, a proper, like, checks and balances thing, actually, to, like, really kind of... Right, so pros, cons, animate sword, spiritual weapon. So pros, animate sword is faster. No action required. Is a creature. Thus can dash, disengage. Thus can take thus can take actions. I think is probably the best way of phrasing that. Cons: concentration, action cast time, is a creature, thus can die. You know, believe it or not, sword can die. Creatures are capable of death. Believe it or not. So pros: bonus action, no concentration. Cons: lower damage. I fucked it up. More damage. Cons: bonus action to use again. Isn't a creature, thus cannot take actions and does not have its own turn. So I would say this is probably like... So the anime sword, it's faster, it has its own turn, it is a body. It impacts the action economy in a greater fashion than spiritual weapon can. However, it is concentration. It is an action cast time. The sword is a creature and thus can die. And the sword does not do very much damage. It does 1d8 plus 1 on a hit, which is, damage is damage. Like, that's fine. This thing provides more in being a body. If anything, smart players will have the sword just take the help action all the time, right? That'll be what the sword is for. It is like a mobile help action machine, which actually makes it really quite good. Oh, also, actually, scales. Does not scale. Right? So, oh wait, no, hang on. That needs to go in here. I would say this is acceptable that this is worse than spiritual weapon, because that is the point. But it's still pretty okay. And that is the point. That's true, actually, yeah. I think that may be something I put on. I think, and its weapon attacks are considered magical for the... That seems really weird, by the way. I suppose it is... No. The only thing about the sword that's magic, the flying sword that's magic, is the fact that it's flying. It's still just a sword. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Of overcoming resistances and immunities to non-magical attacks. Oh, God. I think this is pretty cool. However, I think there is a way we can take it a little further. Oh wait, no, I don't need to do it like that. I need to do it like this. Seems... Yeah, it seems really bad. Plus 1 damage. That's really quite upsetting, actually. Plus 2. I mean, that scales up really high, though. So... 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, basic maths is hard. So 15, 1d8 plus 15, I mean, you're never going to cast a spell on 9th level. At that point, you just take Blade of Disaster, right? But 1d8 plus 15, how does that actually, like, match up to, like, Blade of Disaster? How does that match up to Spiritual Weapon? I think is probably the question we should be asking here, not about the 9th level spell Blade of Disaster. Let me just bust open an Excel spreadsheet, my dudes. S weapon, A sword. Let me just 1 second. Level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Spiritual weapon is say your spell attack modifier is realistically going to be +5, like for the sake of argument. So we're looking at 9 plus. So 2d8, no, just 1d8. It's 4 plus, yeah, it's like 9. And then it's, yeah, so it's 9. 9, and then it becomes 9 plus... it's 9.5 for purposes of argument. 9.5 then becomes just 9 plus 5 is 14. 14, 14. 18.5, 18.5. 23, 23. And then this starts out as 1d8 plus 1, which is like 5.5, 7.5, 9.5, 11.5. 13.5, 15.5, 17.5, 19. Okay, no, it never at any stage catches up with like it never at any stage catches up with spiritual weapon. So yeah, I think that's probably okay. It's hit point scaled by 5 per level. It has like 17 hit points. That's another thing, is that a flying sword is pretty squishy. It's pretty squishy. Right. I'm gonna actually take off this jacket now because I'm dying. I'm trying to actually maneuver out of this. It's quite challenging. Sit up in this damn chair, probably help as well. But we spent way too long on that spell, but I would say this final version of it is balanced. Probably. I'm going to say yes, it is, for the sake of argument, and carry on. It's probably okay. Realistically, I think it's in a good spot now. Arcane Arrow. I'm a fan of this spell. I've had a few players use it to varying degrees of success. I'm not sure how good it is. We will find out rather swiftly, I should imagine. I'll tell you what I haven't been doing. This. That. Right, this is a ranger spell. So this is a smite spell, I believe. So we can put that in now. We won't put that in. Oh, that's actually strange. It's not marked in as a smite spell in my database. That is actually an issue. Let me just make sure the smite spells are. The other smite spells? Oh yeah, no, I just missed that one for whatever reason. So let me fix that. But in the meantime... Oh no, this is a smite spell. This means I already reworked it. Next time you make a ranged weapon, take your spells to it. Oh, this is not the altered version. I have actually not updated Arcane Arrow, at all. So let me go and open up. Haven't actually updated it at all. Not even on my own personal, not even on my backup database. Holy shit, that's actually a substantial problem. Let me go through and fix that. Yeah, I did update Arcane Arrow. Yeah, let me go and actually fix that in my databases. So that's a significant issue. This is what happened when things aren't properly automated in a way that works or makes sense or is good or any of those things, any of those words I just said. When it's none of those things, you find major problems with your systems that you have. So keep track of all your millions upon millions upon millions of fucking homebrew content pieces. I swear I spend more time trying to streamline the process of itemizing it all than I do actually fucking working on it. That's not true at all. I haven't spent quite that long on it, but I spent a long fucking time. Hell, some of my friends have spent a long time on it as well. Oh shit! I closed it. I didn't mean to do that. So we can skim over Arcane Arrow because it is right. Yeah, I say I've definitely updated Arcane Arrow already, so that's yeah, sure. Yeah, go ahead. Arcane Arrow can come out of here now because we don't need to update it at all. Arcane Comet. Now this is a big one. This is going to end up being of substance because there's a lot of things I need to change here. The spell is nuts. Like, it has no right being like working in the way that it does. It's absolutely insane. So this is like a mini ping spell, right? Problem is it's a cantrip and it's a bonus action. And the way that it's worded, it doesn't work. Like, it just doesn't really work at all. So it could potentially work as reaction, which you take in response to casting another spell of first level or higher. With a spell of first level or higher. So I'll open this this in a new tab and I'll take a read. You can cast a spell to unleash. Okay, right. This spell is weird and stupid. Give me a minute. You can cast the spells, right? So when you cast this spell, choose one damaged by the triggered spell. Must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or take 1d4 force damage. Right, so this seems really bad, right? Until you realize this is infinitely repeatable. Like, this is just 1d4 free damage, which scales. Like, level 5, it's 2d4, which averages as just plus 5 damage per round. At the cost of your reaction, which for some characters is very substantial. Like, if you're a wizard, you're probably going to want a counterspell or whatever. Even so, like, this is, this is inspired by the Arcane Comet from League of Legends, one of the Keystone runes, and it's a really cool ability. Like, when you hit somebody with an ability, it sends out an Arcane Comet with infinite range that lands in a little area around them, and they can avoid it if need be. And it's a really cool ability in League. You know, certain characters get a lot of mileage out of it, and it's really cool. It really is. Here it doesn't work. Like, it just does not work. In its current state, it just don't work. Like, this could be a first level spell, maybe, but then it's just not worth it. So probably just make it a cantrip with like a big artillery cantrip or something, which can be cool, can be fun. So yeah, we're gonna change that instead. We're just gonna make it one action. Oh shit! You launch a comet of arcane energy into the air. On impact, the comet explodes with force. Or it could just be towards a creature that you can see within range. The target must succeed on a must make a dexterity greetings. Must make a dexterity saving throw. On a failure, the comet impacts them, dealing 1d6 force damage and pushing them 5 feet away from you. Regardless, the comet this is boring. Like the spell's gone from like really unique to like not really very interesting at all. But it's also gone from obscenely broken to like in a way that it just both doesn't work, and if it did, it would break the game. But let me just check on like some other cantrips real quick. Actually no, I think this damage is okay. I think this is safe. Has a big range. I will take a quick look at the spells you put in here, Faye. Give me a second. I see. Is it just meant to be just the one spell? Yeah. Let's head on over to screen view. Take a look. Fifth level necromancy. Alright. Okay, right. I like this. This is cool. So wording wise, so for starters, this seems to me more like an evocation spell. All of the healing spells in 5e, for the vast majority of them, are evocation spells. I think this would make a lot more sense as a healing spell. So let me get some new text. Let's get like a text editor. Range 120. The main issue is this is like actively better than Mass Cure Wounds by like quite a lot. This is better in almost every way than Mass Cure Wounds. So you release school change to evocation. You release a burst of positive energy at a point. It's point, not spot. Point is I'll say in 5e all of the healing spells are evocation. Like I kind of see how they're necromancy, but like I think realistically they're probably evocation. You release a burst of positive energy at a point you can see within range, bathing your allies in warmth. I mean, the spirit is different because you're summoning it. You are summoning the spirit. All of the others, to my knowledge, all like Cure Wounds, Mass Cure Wounds, Healing Word, Mass Healing Word, like the main 4 healing spells are all evocation. and your enemies in searing light. Each creature you choose in the area regains 2d6 or 2d6 hit points, because 46 is like if you're going to give a heal in an area, which is cool, it can't be better than a spell that already exists at that level, which, whilst the heal is not as potent as Mass Cure Wounds, it has other effects on top of that. So it needs to be notably worse than Mass Cure Wounds. Like, if a player wants... also, this should not be a wizard spell, either. Wizards don't get access to healing, like, or pretty much as a rule. And generally don't get radiant damage either, like, as a rule. So, no wizard. You choose in the area, it regains 2d6 hit points. Then, each creature you did not choose must succeed, or no, must make a Constitution saving throw. On a failure, I would strongly advise against that, because the design space for wizard is that they do not get healing spells, especially a healing spell that is in any form. They do have they get life transference. That is the one outlier. That is the single outlier. I would. I think this in like every aspect of this spell screams this is not a wizard spell, regardless of what it says in the older editions. Because that seems ridiculous that older editions would say, yeah, this spell is a wizard spell. That seems obscene to me. It's positive energy, which is specifically like the upper planes and stuff, which is all cleric stuff. It heals, which wizards, bar one spell, wizards also heal at a cost. They have to spend their own health as a wizard to do that. It's conditional healing as well. It's not even just a heal, it's conditional. Bard is probably a stretch, but I think if you want to compromise, Bard, yeah, like, yeah. On a failure, that's technically all spells are on the Bard spell list if they really want to take it. Paladin seems like a must. Like Cleric, Druid, Paladin seems the most sensible to me. Maybe Bard as well. Like I think it would be acceptable for Bards to get this spell. But ultimately, I don't think it's really necessary. Cleric, Druid, Paladin seems very reasonable. Suffers 8d. Probably. Again, this is a fireball's worth of damage, and fireball is rules as written. Well, not rules as written. Yeah, I think the main issue is that this is the damage is you're getting a fireball's worth of damage, bearing in mind that fireball is realistically should be a 5th level spell. It's that it does that much damage. You could very easily, fireball is on par in power and damage to most 5th level spells, bar a select few incredibly powerful ones. So I think the damage should probably take a hit here as well, just on the grounds of like, this spell does a lot. It's single target. So it does not have fireball damage because it does that to a single target. Like Synaptic Static is a very, very powerful spell, but if Synaptic Static was Negative Energy Flood, I know nothing about, but I will take a read. Give me a second. I'm unfamiliar with Negative Energy Flood. It's less damage than a fireball. And it's a single target. So yeah. Also that, yeah, but we can just ignore Flame Strike because it's a pile of shit. we can ignore Flame Strike because everyone does. It's a bad spell. I would say drop this down to 66 radiant damage, or half as much on a success. Then you have the thing of both the damage and the healing scales, which is... I mean, it makes the spell castable at very high levels, which is a scary thought. But I think that's more neat than anything else. It's an AoE spell. AoE spells never add spellcasting ability. I think this here, this scaling is very powerful, but it is kind of neat. So I would say then that's probably okay. Like, I'd say this is probably the optimal sort of change here. I would argue. I will send these over to you now. If it'll let me. It doesn't seem to want to. Where are my whispers? Can't bloody find them. Doesn't seem to want to let me. There you go. I'll send you another giant wall of text. Yeah, that's a neat spell. I like it. Would save. That could work, but I think you'd end up just changing the name of the spell at that point. Then it's not a positive pulse at all. At that point you're sucking the life out of everybody in an AoE and giving it to all your buddies. That's a very, very different spell, like on a flavor basis. What I'm picturing is like a big explosion of light that heals your allies and damages your enemies as like two separate instances. Like the light itself is doing all the work there. But that in and of itself is a pretty cool spell. That seems like a different spell altogether, if you ask me. That's like a third level, do a little bit of damage, and then like give everybody a little bit of hit points as a third level spell, or a fourth or something like that. I don't know. The level is kind of irrelevant, really. But either way, I'm gonna press on. Arcane Comet is now boring, but also not super broken, so, ultimately for the best. Ashes of the Phoenix is a cool spell name. Was the spell designed like a monkey? It's like a radiant, so the effect is this a radiant damage pulse, and then heals your allies as well. So like you choose a number of creatures, they get healed, and everyone else takes a bunch of damage. Which is a neat design. It is unique, which I think is the core thing we need to preserve. There is its effect, which is unique. Where's Ash? So Ashes of the Phoenix is a very simple spell. No. It is an area and it makes light, and then it creates a big light explosion which heals all your allies and then damages all your enemies. So Ashes of the Phoenix. It's a 9th level abjuration spell with a casting time of 1 minute, range of touch, verbal somatic material, a phoenix feather locked in a gold filigreed box worth at least 1,000 gold pieces. Duration 8 hours, classes Cleric and Druid. You ward a creature with the magic of the Phoenix. For the duration, the target's skin takes on an ashy hue and it gains advantage on death saving throws. Death should be capitalized in this instance. Additionally, should the creature die, its body is reduced to a pile of smoldering ashes and returns to life at full health 1d4 hours after it died with a new body. So, this spell is cool. I think it still holds up now. I think this just works. I really like this. Maybe it could be an action. Maybe. But I think this is to me is something you cast before a fight, not something you cast during it. But I think that's something we can maybe red text. The effect though is super cool, and I really like it. A 9th level spell that stops people. It's Death Ward plus, which is cool. I like it. And there's also nothing stopping you from casting this from Death Ward and this spell on someone if you really want them to not die. Like you aggressively want them to be alive tomorrow. We have almost finished A. This is going to take a while. We're about an hour into the stream as well, so Ormaner's Luminous Chains. Now this one is weird. It has an effect that it has a lot of text, but doesn't really do much in the way of anything. It has a very simple effect, but is really just kind of over the top, really. So, casting time, 1 action, range 30 feet, components, verbal somatic material, a chain link, concentration up to a minute. A creature of your choice you can see within range is enveloped in spectral chains that slowly bind and wrap around it. The target must succeed on a strength saving throw. On a failure, the target takes 3d8 radiant damage and is restrained until the spell ends. On a success, the target takes only half damage and is not restrained. Should be added that, and is not restrained. At the end of each of its turns, the target will remake the save, freeing itself on a success, and taking a further 1d8 radiant damage on a failure. On subsequent turns, you remain concentrating on the spell. You can use a bonus action to tighten your hold on the creature. A restrained creature must make a strength saving throw or be incapacitated and prone. An incapacitated and prone creature must succeed on a constitution saving throw or be stunned. A stunned creature must succeed on a constitution saving throw or be paralyzed, and a paralyzed creature must succeed on a constitution saving throw or be knocked unconscious for 1d4 hours. So this is a spell where you just kind of grab somebody and you like tighten your hold on them over the course of multiple turns. So this, I believe also there is a stage here where they cannot make the save anymore. Yeah, I think all of this just kind of needs to go, because paralyzed, you can't make strength saves. You just fail automatically, which is another issue that is prevalent in a different spell we'll get to later on. And I can hear Joe's rage rising in the distance at the thought of getting to Crystal Breath, which we probably won't get to today, given how bloody long this is taking. I think it's because I'm like, normally the last time I did this, like went through a lot of spells, I like just did it in my own time. I had like 2 tabs open and I was just kind of skimming through them and just like writing down the things I was going to change, and that was it. Whereas now I'm like reading them and like talking and stuff, so it's going to take a lot longer, but that's fine. Like I'm planning on doing multiple streams of this over the course of like this month. Like I'm gonna, go through and do all of this. I may not do it all on stream. Like if it gets to a point where I've done this like 3 times and I'm at like G, then I'm gonna be like, yeah, no, I'm just gonna do this all on my own time. But up until that point, gonna just press on. So I'm restrained at the end of each turn to remake the save, freeing someone success, taking a further 1d8 radiant damage on a failure. part of me wants to go and do that. And you know what? Yeah. Yeah. I think Ominez Luminous Chains. Also, the scaling. Look at that scaling. That is very nice. Yeah, this is cool. I like this spell now. I just saw the link you put in. I'm going to take a break now, because I need to go use the loo. When I get back, I will take a look at that spell, and then I will carry on. We are up to the last... Actually, no, I will do the last A spell, which is called Auriferous Ichor, which I believe is a 4th level spell, I want to say. I'm just guessing, because I don't actually know. It is. So actually, yeah, I will do this last spell, and then I will take a break. Fourth level Transmutation. 1 action touch. Somatic material. A sheet of gold leaf with a drop of blood. Concentration up to a minute. Druid, Odic, Warden, Wizard. You transform a creature's blood with the enchanting power of the earth, turning their veins a glowing gold. The target gains the following benefits. The target exudes dim light in a 5-foot radius. The target gains a +1 bonus to saving throws. The target gains 1d6 temporary hit points at the start of each of its turns. When the target damages a creature, they can choose to not roll for the damage, but instead deal the average damage for their weapon or spell. For example, if a wizard casts Fireball, they can choose to, instead of rolling, choose to deal 28 damage, the average of 8d6. That's okay. This is kind of neat. This effect doesn't really have a lot of, like, flavor, but it's kind of cool. If a wizard casts Fireball, it's concentration for a minute. Gains adds 1d4 to saving throws it makes. Okay, yeah. This is a weird spell. I'm not sure how to feel about this, but it has a kind of cool effect. So, sure. There's some minor buffs in here and there. Might also do this. I think just some general buffs. But yeah, that is all the A spells. I'm gonna go take a break. I'll probably read that spell during the break and come back with my notes. I'll be gone probably 5 minutes or so. I'm just gonna go use the loo and maybe grab myself another drink. So yeah, I'll be back very shortly. See ya. Okay, I'm back. Now I've taken a read of this spell. I'm just going to give it another look. It's Phobia, it's a 9th level enchantment. Casting time 1 action, range 30 feet. Somatic material, a human skull, which the spell consumes. Duration until dispelled. Classes Druid, Warlock, and Wizard. You evoke the most primal form of fear into a creature you can see within range, permanently scarring their mental state. The creature must make an intelligence saving throw. On a failed save, they take 4d12 psychic damage and become frightened of you. While frightened, if the creature starts... I should say, while frightened in this way. That's something there. Can I add comments on this? No. So yeah, while frightened in this way, if the creature starts their turn within 15 feet of you, they must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, they are paralyzed in fear until the end of their next turn. This effect can only be dispelled by a calm emotion spell cast at 9th level. This is cool. I like this. It's not particularly powerful, but it has a very distinct effect. It's not a combat spell by any means. If it works in combat, then amazing. If it doesn't, then you just wasted your 9th level spell. But some 9th level spells are just kind of like that, and that's kind of neat. This is like an out of combat god spell for evil wizards and evil warlocks. And druids, like, I get the druid thing. I get why it's the primal fear, like the fight or flight response even. That works. This is cool. I personally probably wouldn't change anything about this spell. The only issue I think it may have is that this insta-kills commoners, which may and most NPCs that you would want to cast this on out of combat. So honestly, the effect is powerful enough, but the damage is kind of negligible, right? I would honestly cut the damage entirely, or make the damage entirely optional. Because I personally, were I having access to this spell, I would use it and cast it on like kings or whatever. I wouldn't, I wouldn't cast it in combat ever. I would cast it on like the local lord. So he's absolutely fucking terrified of me, and will thus give me all his money. But be like, they take 1d12 psychic damage if you choose, or just something like that, yeah. Yeah, frightened of you in this way. But yeah, I say this is a cool effect. I like this a lot. But yes, let us tarry on. Let's just tilt forward a little bit. Just bring the camera down just a tad. There we go. I can like lean back a bit more now and like be in frame. So, Big B's Power Palm. Now that's a spell name, but is it actually a good spell? That is the question. Big B's Power Palm. Oh, there it is, right? It took me bloody ages to find it. You conjure upon a hand of pure force that flies towards an enemy within range with flies towards an enemy within of pure magical energy that flies towards an enemy within range with force, purpose, and strength. Make a ranged spell attack against a creature within range. There should be a full stop there. On a hit, the target takes 3d12 bludgeoning damage and is thrown. It should be pushed. Is pushed 15 feet back by the powerful strike of the hand. A creature that is pushed into a solid enough object, such as a wall or column, takes an additional 3d12 bludgeoning damage. To start with, force. Bump this damage to 5, and reduce this damage to 3d6. 5 may be too much. Make it 4. The initial damage of the spell increases by... Yeah. I think that's good. Like, you like punch a dude, 40-12. 3rd level spell, 40-12. Actually, well, hang on. It's 4 times 6, 6.5. It's 26 plus 3 times 3.5. It's 36 points of damage for a 3rd level spell to a single target, and you push them 15 feet away. Yeah, I'd say this probably works. This certainly a lot more damaged, balanced even. Now, Binding Burst. This is a weird one. I actually need to like copy this from the book itself, because I actually removed this from my own personal thing because it was very weird and kind of strange. So I've got to like go through and like do some stuff to make it. Let me just plug all this in real quick. Could a burst of powerful energy that extends from you in a 10-foot radius around you. Each creature caught in the area. The area must make a strength saving throw or take 5d8 force damage and be thrown 10 feet. And be thrown 10 feet into the air. This is the being paralyzed upon reaching the... Be thrown 10 feet of the air. Suspended in place and paralyzed. Is pushed 10 feet into the air. It's pushed 10 feet in the air and 10 feet away from you. Yeah, I think I remember seeing that. It still kind of has the issue of just murdering people when you want them to be afraid of you. But I think realistically, it might not matter too much, but at the same time it does kind of step on what you would want to use the spell for, which is to scare people and not kill them. I mean, just like any amount of damage is, if it's capable of killing a commoner, it's potentially too much to do what you want it to do. And 1d4 is the lowest amount you can realistically have a spell do, and that's still capable of killing a commoner. I think the effect is potent enough. I think really you could maybe enhance the effect to where if the creature is within 60 feet of you and can see you, like that could potentially work quite well. Or just 30 feet or something, and just cut the damage altogether. But I don't know, just a thought. Certainly the way I would want to use that spell is inhibited. Phobia is a single target spell. Creature paralyzed in this way is resistant to all damage. A creature takes half damage on a success and is pushed 10 feet away from you. And is only pushed 10 feet away from you. Must make a strength saving throw. On a failure, the creature suffers 5d8 force damage and is pushed 10 feet. Is pushed 10 feet away from you and up into the air. It is then paralyzed. It is then suspended in place in the air, paralyzed. A creature paralyzed in this way So that's more or less what I was saying before. Is it this is a 9th level spell, so it's the highest level possible spell. But the idea is that the main application of the spell is using it to scare people, like out of combat. So and if the spell is capable of killing the person that you're trying to scare, then it defeats the point of casting the spell. Because if you wanted to kill them, then you would just kill them. Because it, like, even if you reduce the damage to like a D4, then it's like if a D4 can kill them, then you would do a better job of just like flexing your magic muscles and casting a fireball near them. I think the effect on its own, with a slight buff, it doesn't need the damage, because the effect is not useful in combat, like realistically. Like if unless your DM is an idiot, if you cast this spell in combat, it's like on like the big boss monster or whatever, the DM is going to have specifically saved a legendary resistance for that exact spell, so that you cannot cast it. Because if they succeed the initial save, the spell does nothing, which is fine. It should do nothing on a failed save, on a successful save even, because that spell would be obscene if it did a bunch of stuff, even if they succeeded the save. But yeah, I would say like its primary application is that could be good, actually. I am a fan of, maybe you could keep the original damage, or keep the damage you have at the moment, like the 2d6, and make it so that the damage cannot reduce them below 1 hit point. That, to me, solves all of the problems here. Like, keep the 2d4 damage over time effect that you have, and then just make it so the damage can't kill them. And that I think Joe's hit the nail on the head. That is the perfect version of that spell, I think. I very much like the effect. I want to make sure it doesn't get screwed over by, it just killing all the things you actually want to use it on. And that solves it. A creature paralyzed in this way. Okay, so the idea of this spell is that you're like a wizard dude, right? And you slam your staff into the ground and you send everyone around you like shooting up into the air, and then you kind of get like that slow-mo pan shot, like that super slow-mo. That pan shot as the enemies are thrown up into the air, except that's in real time. So you're wandering around, all these dudes are kind of like slow-mo, kind of like kind of floating through the air. Yeah, sure, go for it. Magic in what sense? Turns, or whenever it becomes the target. Okay. I kind of like this new version of Binding Burst. I think it actually like captures the effect I want it to have in a way that isn't total shit. I like this. It's cool. Yeah, I think that's cool. It's a cool effect, and it's quite a powerful spell at that. Now, Blast of Darkness. I've used this spell a few times to great effect. I'm just a little concerned about its overall power, because it is kind of nuts. Oh god, that's scaling. That is dirty. Holy shit. Let's fix that straight away. 5th level, Conjuration. You conjure a wave of darkness that saps the life from creatures it touches. All creatures originating from point within 5... Okay, no, that's... You... For painting magic, when it costs to paints. Okay. I think that's more kind of flavoring a pre-existing spell. Because I think, like, there are probably a number of spells you could probably re-flavor or recontextualize to have that effect, but I'm not sure if there's, like, a precedent for, something very so specific. It's a cool idea. You unleash a wave of darkness out in front of you that saps the life of creatures it touches. In a 90-foot cone in front of you that saps the life of creatures. From all creatures it touches. Each creature caught in the area must succeed on a Constitution saving throw. Must make a Constitution saving throw. On a failure, a creature suffers 76 necrotic damage, or half as much on a success. So then it'd be the darkness persists for 1 minute, heavily obscuring the area for the duration. Any creature that starts a turn within the darkness is blinded until the start of their next turn. Heavily obscuring. Covering the area in magical dark. For the remaining duration, the area is covered in magical darkness. Any creature that starts its turn within the darkness is blinded until the start of their next turn. I think this spell is too big. I think we have like a 60-foot cone is probably more than enough, but realistically a 30-foot cone is probably more applicable. And then scaling 2d6, which is pretty nuts. That's probably a bit much. I think realistically, I think my aim here was to make the scaling very good. And realistically, we can do that by just going 5d8 necrotic damage in here. I mean, let me just check. Let me just any dice this real quick, just to check the general power level. There's people making noise. I opened my window for the sake of it being cool in here, and now there's a bunch of people making noise outside, even though it's 9 o'clock, which is a bit fucking ridiculous, really. But whatever. 76 output. 5d8. Let's graph it. Okay. Yeah. I think 5d8 is reasonable. See, you unleash a blast of darkness in a big area. The spell's not got a particularly imaginative name, to be perfectly honest, but whatever. A wave of shadow. There we go. You know what? No, I think the spell has existed for so long. Its name is clunky and stupid. I'm not going to change it to Shadow Blast. I'm just going to name it to I'm just going to keep it as Blast of Darkness, which is a fucking stupid name, and I love it. It's such a... I don't love it, but it's so dumb. I'm just going to keep it. It's a dumb, terrible name, but I like it. Blistering Geyser. Given the time, I'm probably going to go... I'm going to finish all of the B spells, and then make a start on the C spells, and then I'm going to get going, I think. Oh. Blistering Geyser. I don't know what level spell this is. I'm going to guess 4 and probably be wrong. No, I was right. Guess I'm a fucking genius then, huh? What a chad. 1 action. Druid evocation. 1 action. Self. Somatic. Material, a vial of water with a copper wire inside. You shoot forth a blast of scalding water on a 30-foot long, 5-foot wide line. Each creature caught in the line must succeed on a dexterity saving throw, or take 46 bludgeoning damage plus a further 2d10 fire damage at the start of its next turn. Creature that fails the saving throw also falls prone. Creature succeeds the saving throw takes half damage. I don't know about this damage. Like the 4th level spell, this seems to be fairly low in the damage department. But the effect is pretty cool. Knocks people prone. Must make a dexterity. So I'm just going to change the wording. On a failure, a creature falls prone, taking 46 bludgeoning damage plus a further 2d10 fire damage to start its next turn. A creature that fails the saving throw. Okay, a creature that succeeds the save takes half damage. Halves both instances of damage. I think it's probably a more concise way of phrasing that. Now let's any dice this again, because I'm not sure how good this damage realistically is. So it does prone people, which is pretty good. average damage, you're looking at about 25 damage, which is cool. Like, it's a cool effect. I don't know if it's particularly good, though, I think is sort of the problem. I suppose this is an area of effect, actually. Yeah, no, I think this is probably fine. Blooming Lethality. Now, I remember this spell being weird and probably not working in the way I want it to. Let's find out. Oh. Oh. There. Second level transmutation. 1 action, 30 feet. Verbal somatic material. A flower petal and a dried frog leg. Concentration up to a minute. You grow a poison spewing flower at a point you can see within range. The flower is small and purple in colour, with yellow dots on its petals. At the end of each of your turns, it releases a 5-foot radius cloud of deadly toxins centered on the flower. Each creature caught in the area... Deadly toxins around it. Each creature caught in the area must succeed on a constitution saving throw or take 1d10 poison damage, become poisoned till the end of its next turn. A creature poisoned this way is incapacitated. Okay, right, there we go. The flower has 1 hit point. I think given that the spell can be ended in that way, this doesn't need to be concentration. This can just be a minute cast time. Or a minute duration, because you just summon the flower and then somebody can either, someone can get rid of it. Creature poisoned this way is incapacitated. Yeah, I kind of like this spell. It's weird and it's janky and it's kind of dumb, but I like it. I do like it. Let me just go through and fix all of this because this needs to be an extra thing here. I'm also gonna go in here. Give me just a second. Yeah, this is a cool spell. Now it is time for Bolt Rail, which I believe is a cantrip that requires very little, if any, work whatsoever. Cantrip, 1 action, self, verbal somatic, instantaneous. You conjure forth a beam of electrical energy from your fingertips that flies out in a 5-foot wide, 10-foot long line in front of you. Each creature caught on the line must make a dex save, or take 1d6. Yeah, this is close range. This is Acid Splash, basically. This is a better Acid Splash that does lightning damage, which is a more resisted damage type. Bolt Rail does not need any changes at all. Bolt Rail is fine. Bowgentle's Fleeting Journey. Now this, I believe, is a 2nd level spell. Or no, this is a 5th level spell. I remember this. So, Conjuration, 1 action, range unlimited, verbal somatic material, a weight from a pendulum, concentration up to a minute. You teleport yourself to an unoccupied space that you can see or a location that you have been to at least once. When the spell ends, you reappear at the nearest unoccupied space where you first cast the spell. If you try to target a location on another plane, the spell fails. It's concentration for a minute. So basically, you go somewhere for a minute, which is, sort of in many cases, a sending spell, basically. So I think Bowgentle's is fine. It's weird, but it's fine. Now, Break. Break is a weird one. Break is a very weird one. You touch a part of the target's body, causing one of their bones to instantly break. Target can make a Constitution saving throw to resist the spell. On a failed save, the target creature takes bludgeoning damage equal to the base damage of the targeted bone, taking no damage on a success. The bone you target can grant such... Yeah, this spell is weird and kind of stupid. So I'm gonna like cut basically the entire effect of this spell and just rebuild it from scratch because its effect is dumb and stupid. You touch a creature, causing their bones to become brittle and easily broken. Make a melee spell attack against a creature within range. On a hit, the target suffers 4d8 necrotic damage, and it becomes brittle. You have stepped on ancient ground. You have disturbed the old gods, Phalia. Boy howdy do I know. Do not cite the deep magics to me, witch, for I was there when it was written. I am acutely aware. Yes, I'm a fan. It's good shit. Good shit. An ancient pastime. Passed from, I don't know, from one to another. It's a noble pursuit. It's good fun. It's good fun. It's a good exercise in design, I find. Even if you're not an artist, which I am not. It's still very enjoyable. I have some old notes kicking around, like whole ass like Excel docs. I've got one kicking around here somewhere. So I did England before it was cool, and I did it well. I did it better. But that's probably a bit of a hot take, but I just don't really like Sword and Shield that much. The Galar region kind of fucking blows. I don't mind a regional variant. I'm not like super stoked about them. I think Sword and Shield did a good job of them. And it becomes brittle for. Nice. Additional damage of that type. It suffers 2 additional. Whenever a brittle creature suffers damage, unless that damage is poison or psychic type, it suffers 2 additional damage of that type. At higher levels, when you cast this spell using a spell slot of 5th level or higher, the damage dealt to brittle creatures. Increases by 1 for each spell slot. I'm gonna have to take a... I just cracked open an ancient document. How many deep did I get? 102. 102. Plus a partially completed regional dex, I think. Mostly completed regional dex, in fact. Pretty... what's my type spread? Pretty acceptable. A lot of poison, for whatever reason. Oh. I have more or less everything except... Everything except legendaries, I think, is basically what I have. I had legendaries once, but they were like sun and moon themed, which has already been done, so that's not happening. I know, I had some legendary ideas. Oh yeah, no, I did have some ideas, yeah. I got some dumb stuff in here. Nice, nice. Right, I'm gonna close this Excel document before I fall down the rabbit hole again. And I will no doubt open it again later on and fall down the rabbit hole all over again. Ah, yes. Hello, it is me, Jerry. I am a fighting type because because I physically assaulted somebody outside of a gas station one time. That might be a bit dark, but it's pretty funny. So, Okay, right. We've done the A and the B spells, which covers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 spells. What percentage of them have we done in that time? 11.25%. So, yeah, unless we pick up the pace the next time we stream this, which I will definitely be doing again. I will, if possible, I will stream this again this week. Hell, I may do this again on Sunday, like after my Pokemon stream. I may do it then. So, yeah, if I can pick up the pace, I'll probably get like halfway through this, and then I do the rest of it in my own time, realistically, because I like. Even if I do like, I suppose if I can do like 20% next time, then I will go through and like I will pick up the pace a bit. I think we've gotten through a lot of like the really problematic spells as well. Like there's a few like weird ones still in here, but for the most part, they're all pretty chill. So yeah, I'd say, hope folks have enjoyed themselves, because I think I'm going to stop here, because it is like 9:15, and I still have some things I need to do this evening. Various bits and pieces. I believe I have a game to plan for tomorrow. But if anyone wants to go buy the archive, you can do, because it'll be getting an update, like, once this is done, basically. It'll be going up probably by the end of this month, early next month. You can buy the archive and all my other garbage over on the guild. There's some fun stuff. So if you play D&D, there's probably something in there that you'll like the look of. So just have a skim through it all, see what you like. I've worked on adventures with other people as well, so feel free to go look at those. Worked on like a few bits and pieces. I've got a number of like collaborative projects that are coming out at some point in the distant future. So do go take a look, see if you like anything, and if you don't, or then whatever. Like that's I ain't gonna fucking come to your house with a bat. Like, you spend your money how you want, my dude. Like, it's up to you. It's your wallet. Either way, I'm gonna head off now. I'm gonna see if there's anyone to raid. There is. Finn the Bin is currently playing Pokemon Heart Gold with Nat, and I am not sure who this other person is, actually. I will have to go and look up who this individual is, because I'm unfamiliar with them. I've seen them on Finn's stream before, but I don't know who they are. Let us have a look. Oh, no, I do know who this lady is. I didn't recognize her from the thumbnail. It's Isa or Issa. I forget what her. I recognize her. I don't know much about her. But we shall raid Finn the Bin. So do join the raid if you can. I will be back on Friday to stream some Magic. I'm going to play some Call Time stuff because I have a crunchy deck. I have a crunchy deck I want to try out. It's good stuff. So yeah, thanks for stopping by. Do join the raid. I don't know if the raid has worked, because it doesn't look like anyone has joined the raid yet, though it may not have shown up for people. Huh, that's weird. And let me cancel the raid and start again. That was very strange, because like normally people join like instantaneously, and they did not this time at all. Maybe they changed the way raids work? I don't know. But yeah, do join the raid if you can. It doesn't seem to be working. Have people joined the raid? Because it's still telling me that no one has. I assume it's a Twitch bug, but I don't actually know. This is real weird. Well, either way, we won't bother with the raid. Presumably Twitch raids are bugged at the moment, so we're not going to bother. So that kind of sucks, but whatever. It doesn't matter. It's not a big deal. Either way, I'll be back on Friday. Going to stream Magic. I'm going to be streaming Pokemon on Sunday. Going to continue playing Platinum. We just finished like Gym 3, about halfway to Gym 4. Got like a pretty solid team. So yeah, do stop by. Be doing some more Homebrew on Monday. Not sure what. Might be doing this. Not sure. But yeah, thanks for stopping by. See ya.